no matter how great we are at programming, sometimes our scripts have errors. So they may occur because of our mistakes, or maybe something due to the input, whatever the user is giving as an input, or some erroneous server response, or thousand other reasons can be there, right? Nobody makes a perfect code in the first code itself, right? So that is why we are going to try to learn about all stuff related to error handling. So watch this video till the end so that you can learn all about try, catch, finally, throw, and also how to make your own error classes. That we'll be doing it to the end, and we'll have some bonus tips in the middle. So watch the video till the end to get all the knowledge that you require with respect to error handling. So let's dive right into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the Codefreak channel. Freak out as you code. Here I have made a error handling.js file, and I have linked it to the HTML file, and I have opened it on my browser. So let's get started now. So the first thing that we'll try to look at is try and catch. So let's look at the syntax. So we have try like this, and you have catch in this manner. You write the syntax, and you have the state set of code inside this, whatever you want to try, and if there are any errors, you can catch them. Actually, you need brackets here with an error. First, whatever is there inside this try is executed in case you find any errors, so that error is sent here, and then you can work with the error. So let me do console.log start of try. This is the beginning of try, right? So, and also I can just copy it and paste it here, and I'll make it end of try just for the sake of it. And I'm going to copy and paste it here also, but this is going to be the start of catch. So you see that you get start of try and end of try in the console tab, right? So now let's go ahead and try to see how you can actually catch the errors. So let's say we have a variable here or something like that called blah. Blah. So see, you don't get an error. Normally, if you do it outside here, you just would have typed blah, you would have got an error saying that blah is not defined, something like that, right? But here it's taking that error, putting it in the catch or sending it here, and then you can see that it's coming to start of catch, right? If I do this, and if I change whatever is there inside this to the error, let's see what happens. So you see that you got the error called reference error. So it's a reference error. Blah is not defined at the line 5. So there are 3 ways actually in which you can look at the errors. Oh, see, this is an error object. Okay. So what does it contain? It contains 3 things as of now. It contains a name, it contains a message, and it contains a stack. So a name is the error name. For instance, here reference error is the error name, right? Message is this textual thing that you actually see, and a stack is current call on this stack from which the a string with information about the sequence of nested calls that leads to this kind of an error is used for debugging processes most of the times. So let's look at each of them. So you have error here, and then let me do error.message. See, what is error.message? It's blah is not defined, and then you have error.name also. So reference error, it's a reference error, right? And then let me just show you stack. I'm not sure whether it will work. You got the same thing with respect to that, right? So see, here we got a reference error, right? So now say we get a syntax error in the sense that you just put some brackets like that. So this is syntax error. So now if you see, actually this error is, you're going to get a syntax error in this way, and you can't catch a syntax error in this manner, because this try and catch actually catches only the runtime errors. So what happens during the runtime? Let's take one more example with respect to this. So you might have heard about this set timeout function. Maybe you would have used it also a few times. So let me just use it once here. So I have to call a function here, and maybe we will have in inside this function we'll have in some error. So what is the kind of error that you can have? Again, I'll put blah here. It's also a reference error, right? And then you have a timeout here, right? Now let us see what happens. This is one more interesting concept with respect to that. You get start of try, end of try, and then you're getting this error not as this. You're getting it automatically from the browser, right? So that means whenever you do something like some work which is done after some time, or if it is scheduled as such, then you will see that this try and catch won't work. There is one more statement called finally, which is also important. So let's look at that. Even if you come across an error in the try block, or if you don't have an error there also, you may want to do some certain things, right? So let's actually then you can put it in the finally block of statement. So I'll just put finally here. That's be fine for us to understand. Start of try, end of try, and finally. We'll be looking at some JSON method. So if you don't know anything about JSON, it is a way actually to which helps us in sending data and receiving data and stuff like that. If you want more information on that, you can check out the video on the top. That will help you out. I've put it even in the description below, so check it out. So you can have let JSON equal to, we'll have a thing like this. Now let's do try, and maybe you want to convert the JSON back to the object. So we'll create an object here. We'll call it maybe something like user. That should be good. Equal to JSON.parse. So this will convert it back to a object. If this is going to give an error, then you want to catch that error. So you can use the catch statement again, and you can get in the error. You can name it anything. I'm just going to put it E for now. Okay, that's also fine. Then you can do console.log the error, if at all there is an error, something like that. So now let us see whether we get an error. We shouldn't get an error, I guess. You don't get an error as such. Okay. Now if there is some error with respect to this, so it's a bad JSON, for example, let me just put in something there like that. I think this should give an error. See, you got a syntax error. Unexpected token B in JSON position 17. Okay. You can actually put in something like our apologies, the data from the given server is not coming properly, something like that. So now let's look at the throw operator. So maybe sometimes you want to actually throw our own errors. So here say you wanted the age of the person to be there here. Okay, so but it's not there. Alert user dot age. So that is valid, right? So let's see what happens. It gives an undefined there. It doesn't throw an error, but it is supposed to give us that the age is not there, right? So let's look at how we can actually do this. So we have to throw an error here. Error is not generated. So you have to throw an error here. So how do you throw an error? So the syntax as such is you use the keyword throw, and then inside that you have a error object. So how do you create an error object? We will look at it right away. All right, this is the syntax. So now let us look at this how to actually create an error. So you can make let error. So this is a variable again. Okay, and then you can use the new keyword, and then you can type in error. So you can type in error. There are 2 to 3 ways, or 2 to 3 different types of errors you can generate, and then maybe you can put in the message here, whatever is the message, for example, any message for that matter. The syntax with respect to creating the error. So you can have a syntax error, or you can have a reference error. So that's up to you finally. So these are some built-in errors. Towards the end of the video, you look at how to make your own errors also. Just wait for that for a few minutes, because I have some more concepts to cover before that. You can use the if condition, and then inside that you can use not, because undefined, not of undefined will be true. So that was the idea here. So user dot age, right? We wanted to check for the age, and if it's not there, you can throw an error. So how do you throw an error? You can do throw new. So we can directly create it even this way. So this was something like a syntax error or something like that. So if you think it's a syntax error, you can do that. Else you can just give in an error also. So this is the type of the error. So in the error name, this comes up, right? This is the error name, and whatever is the message. So maybe you want to say that incomplete data or something like that. Incomplete data. So you're throwing the error over here, and it's going to catch it here. All right. So that's what we expect here as such. So let us see that. So now you got a syntax error, incomplete data. So there is a concept called rethrowing of an error. So when do we use this concept, and why do we need it? So in this above example, we use try catch to handle incorrect data, but it's also possible for some another unexpected error within the try statement. So maybe after this or before this or stuff like that, right? So like any other programming error, it can be any other programming error, like a variable is not defined or something like else, for example. Okay, so of course everything is possible. Programmers do make mistakes. That's why we have this error handling class. So catch also actually processes only errors that it knows and rethrows all others. Okay, so we can maybe have a if else condition here as such, and then maybe try it out. So if be something like that, console.log show the error, so you can rethrow the error. So you throw the error to you can just throw e. So this is how you can also do it. So if in case you have another try and catch, so maybe this whole thing is inside one more try block, so for that the catch block will actually catch this error which you're throwing here and then maybe do that. If it is not happening that way, then it just kills the script and that's how it ends. Now so let's make a function and look at how actually try and catch and finally actually behave in a function. So let's make a function here. So I'll call it fun. We're going to have some fun with it. So let's just put try statements here. Let's just return maybe say 1 here. Then we'll have a catch like that, and which is going to catch an error, and you have this statement, and maybe you return a 0 if there is an error. That's good, right? So now let's go to the finally part, finally, and first let's call the function. So you can just do maybe alert and a fun. So now let's see as to what exactly happens here. So you got 100 first. Okay, so whatever is there in finally is running first. So that's how this works. So you can have another alert here. Alert maybe finally, something like that. And now let us look at what happens here. So you got finally, and you get 1. So that is with respect to how you can actually meddle around with functions. So it's going to first look at finally, and then it's going to go to try, and then if there are some errors which are caught, it will go here. So that's with respect to how it works with respect to the functions. There is one global catch. You call it a global catch. So say you make some mistake and you have not used try or catch or anything of that sort. So but you want the program to not just crash, and you want it to work, right? So that's how you want it to work. So there is one more function for that which we will look at right now. So let me make a script tag here in the HTML. So we have a script tag in this manner, and then let's just copy the thing which we had done earlier and align it also, so that will be good, right? Yeah, so that's with respect to that. And then now here say you have the variable like that. So let's hope that it gives. So you can see that you got the error here first, and then it's going back and doing it. All right, so this is with respect to, as of now we have covered try, catch, finally, and also throw, rethrow, and we have also looked at window dot on error. So now let's go ahead and look at how to create our own error objects, custom errors, and how we can extend these errors also. So when we develop something as a whole, as a project as such, we often need our own error classes to reflect certain specific aspects as such. When we go wrong in some aspect, maybe it's a HTTP error, maybe it's a database operation error, or it's a not found error. So these are some examples. So for example, the HTTP error objects have some status codes like 404, 403 and 500 or something like that. You would have seen that already when you were using some arbitrary website which crashed, okay, something like that. So these are all instances of the error. So if you do the object and instance of error, it will automatically identify them as an error if you create it in the manner which I show you. JavaScript allows us to throw anything for the matter, errors or anything for that matter, with any argument. So technically our custom errors do not need to inherit from the error class, but it will be easier when we inherit from the error class, because when we use object instance of error to identify these objects, it becomes easier to actually do that. It becomes easier when we inherit them. You'll see why in the near future. So let's have this JSON thing again. I'm just going to copy it from what I had done previously here, or I can just uncomment it out here. That should be fine, right? Now let's go ahead and look at making a error class of our own. So we'll have a class here not found error. And so we will use the inheritance concepts. So if you don't know about inheritance and all, you can look at the video which I've put in the description and also on the top. You can look at it. I've discussed in detail about the classes and inheritance and a lot of stuff there. It's nearly 40 minutes. So if you have the time, go there and look at it. Otherwise also it's no problem. You can just choose whatever I'm saying here. So you want to inherit from the error class. Yeah. Well, we'll have a constructor here. So constructor is kind of important. So maybe you want a message. So whatever is the message you're having, if you want it, you can have it. Otherwise, you don't need to have it. Then you have to use the super function. Otherwise, there'll be error. So super and the message you want to do that, you can do that. And then you have to do this dot name. Since it's a not found error, we'll give a name to it called not found error. So not let's put it in one word, not found error, so that it looks more proper as such. Okay. So that's with respect to the class. So we have made a class here which is a not found error, so our own custom class. So now let's make a function, simple function. Maybe we'll again call it fun. I like to call functions fun. I don't know why, because coding is so much fun, right? So let's just throw an error. So new, let's create a new not found error. So yeah, not found error, and let's give in a message here. So oops, some error like that. That's the message you want to give for now. So now let's actually use the try and the catch again. So try, you just call the function fun, and then you can catch the error. Let's just name the error E. That's fine. And then you can console.log, or you can even alert, doesn't matter. I'm used to doing console.log, so I'm going to do that only. So that should be fine, right? So now let's actually look at what happened. Fun error is giving a not found error, and oops, fun, whatever, and with the name of the line and stuff like that, right? So you can do error.message. So you have that. So you can see you got oops. That's what was the message we sent. So do error.name, and you can see what happens here. You'll get a not found error, whatever you have put here. So this is one way of actually using a error class. Let's make kind of a real world example here, right? So that's why we have done all this. So let me create a variable called user, as we had done earlier, and let me do json.parse if user dot age. It doesn't have age, right? So you can just put the not like how we did previously. You want to call the fun error, so you can do fun like that. And let me comment out this one. It's not required, right? It doesn't matter because it won't run fun again, because the error will come here automatically. So this is how you can actually use it in proper manner. So this is the perfect example of using it. Giving one last note and one last thing for you. So you have here a not found error, right? So you can even specify what is not found. Maybe age is not found, or the name is not found, and stuff like that. So how can you do that? You can make another class of errors where you have it is a name not found error, which extends to this not found error class. So you can have that. So you call that particular error. If you have that particular error, you can have the if condition here, and you can rethrow it again into another try. So this is how you can actually expand, and that's how actually programming in the real what you call the real projects and all, you have to do it in this manner. So the whole program doesn't crash and the user will have a bad experience if that happens, right? So those are some things which you actually have to keep in mind. So, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on the video. If you have any more errors, that's it, guys. Bye bye.